All right, this is a fun little video. We at Fried Egg Golf, I think like the one of the most interesting things about the TGL is their ability to create whole designs. The TGL kicks off tonight. If you're watching it the day that this is published on our YouTube page, they have fully customizable holes. It's screen golf, so you could really build anything you want. This has been an area I would say that I think like the architects have been pretty cautious for the most part and not really thinking about how to test the best golfers and put them in unique situations. I think that's one of the most enticing aspects of the TGL is how you could design these make-believe holes that you'd never see that really put people in a bind, especially with the TGL with the shot clock and the mic'd up players. You want to have the holes put players in a position where they have to think, where they don't know what to do, where they're talking about what they should do. And so I designed a hole, and it spurred a little design competition within our membership club, TFE. So we have a bunch of member submitted designs. This is a tongue in cheek. I think there's a lot of humor in these holes. We got to shout out John, who built all these holes in 2K, and PJ was able to play them. But I'm joined here. Will Knights, our community manager of Club TFE, hosts this. This is one of our hangouts. We do this every month on different topics with different people from the company. This is one of our hangouts. Will hosts it. I'm on it. Cameron Hurtis, who's won 3 Lido competitions, the Draw Your Hole competition that's put on by the Alistair McKenzie Society and Golf Digest. He's won 3 of them. I think he's actually banned from the competition. He's won too many times. Joseph Lamagna also joins, and PJ, who had played the course in 2K a couple times now and talked about some of his struggles with some of these holes. But this is Club TFE's take on the holes. I will say one caveat for the people that are going to get in the comments. I don't think the greens conform to what like the TGL constraints with the greens are, but I think that's one of the things we would most like to see change. Like maybe it would be better for the TGL if they had a bunkerless green, to be completely honest, as we talk about a lot in this hangout. But if you like this, if you like the overall spirit of this, I would recommend checking out Club TFE, our membership. It's $120 for the year. We do a lot of fun stuff and a lot of have a lot of fun with golf course design in there. So this is a little different than our usual YouTube content, but it was really fun, and we thought it'd be something to throw up on the YouTube page before TGL.
All right, let's PJ, I think we just dive right in. We have 18 holes to get through today. We are going to spend a little bit of time on each. The way we're going to do this here is we're going to start with the actual submission, the drawing that was submitted. We're going to start with Andy and Joseph's, and then we're going to go and actually see what it looks like in PGA 2K23. We're going to get your reactions, and we're going to declare a winner at the end of this. So definitely kind of keep an eye out here. PJ, let's roll right into Andy's because he was the one who got this started. So this is the Jammer. It's a par 4, 545 yards. And as we'll get to, actually, I'm going to pause here for a second, PJ. John Gelsing, the full Club TFE course is 7,865 yards. We got some beefy boys in here. And starting with Joseph and Andy right off the bat is they play downhill, though, a lot. I don't know if it's like Kapalua, Andy, where it's just all downhill. But I think we do have a decent amount of downhill holes in here. So, PJ, let's roll with the first hole here. Andy's vision of the Jammer was brought to life a couple of weeks ago by John. And so this is the first hole of what I believe we were calling Club TFE TGL Island. So welcome to the island, everyone. It's great to have you all in here. We're going to get to the top of the hill here of Andy's. Andy, do you want to actually walk through like what you were thinking in designing this one?
Oh, yeah. I mean, this is all, I feel like pro golfers never have to make choices that are hard to make, you know? So I wanted to put them in a situation where if you laid up, you don't like your decision. If you go for it, you really don't like the decision to go for it because it's like, oh, this narrow little ramp, I have to hit it down. But like it gives a huge advantage to those that go for it and get it done. So that was kind of the idea. Is like I thought like a good way with pro golf, what we rarely see is decisions that accentuate, like create really wide margins of advantages. So that was the jammers idea here. It was just one idea. And obviously, I think like a long approach to a tiny green with an extreme downhill is a nightmare. So that was the idea.
And the addition of the houses, I think we just wanted to keep, as the TGL designers, I wanted some semblance of reality. Is that kind of the idea there?
The green might be just a island. I don't like that we got the bunker added.
Well, you can take that up with John afterwards. He did do this for
This
free.
is supposed to be just a tiny little green here.
Little bailout zone.
What do you guys think? Critique away, Cameron. What's wrong with the jammer?
I love the idea of it. I think it's a bit too binary for me, if that makes sense. Like, I think the options are basically like your layup. Well, I don't know where PJ hit it because it sounds like he struggled on this. Well, I guess he topped instead, which
you could go layup.
I did.
Now.
I went layup on accident, inadvertently. I ended like right here in the rough on the side of the cliff, and then I said, "Oh, I'm going to go for the green," and I came up short. So.
I would love to just take this idea a bit further. It's sort of like where Joseph went with his, and like maybe have multiple ramps, to like different areas. I think that's my main thought. I think it's a cool idea.
You think we should add a mid deck?
A mid deck, yeah. Add different levels. Maybe some things on diagonals, yeah. But I think
we'll get to a couple of those. Yeah.
Oh, I know.
And I think that's why I think it makes for such a good first hole, right, PJ? Like, I mean, they get more complicated from here, but like this is the first decision. Like, do you go for it? Do you lay up?
It is pretty daunting when you're standing there in like the tee box view and you just see this giant cliff, and if you don't know what's coming, you have no idea what to do. So I appreciate that.
It's a beautiful starting hole.
All right, what do we have next?
We're off to Joseph's. This is Pipe It. And this, Joseph, I think you would agree that your drawing is rather rudimentary, but that's okay for this purposes because John took it to the next level. PJ, let's roll into the actual overhead here and let Joseph. Why don't you walk through exactly what we're looking at?
I haven't seen the finished version from John, so this is fresh eyes on this. The whole idea with Pipe It is giving people basically three options. I think you should be hitting into pipes on TGL, and if you miss those little slots, then it should be a big penalty. I think the way John did this is with like concrete ramps. So there's basically, I don't know if I can fully see it here, but 4 pipes, 2 down the left and 2 down the right. One that's
we stuck with 3 here. You got the castle on the left. That's about a 6 iron.
Your main pipe.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that 6 iron, if you go down the left, should send you down a ramp to a side fairway that should leave you about 175 yards in. That's the way I had drawn it originally.
When I hit the ramp this morning, it was about a 467 yard 6 iron. So it gets you down there.
That's what we're looking for. And then there's 2 more pipes that are more at driver length. But the whole point is if you miss these pipes, like you're in the water. So if you miss with the 6 iron, you're re-teeing. If you miss one of the ones at driver length, which is up here, then you're going to be dropping up here, hitting 3. Or you can just hit more of a conservative approach short of the driver length up to this top deck and have a long approach in. So a lot of different ways you can play it. I think this is somewhat inspired by my experience playing Mario Golf as a kid where you're trying to hit into pipes. And I think that's what TGL should be. I really do. So I appreciate John's rendering here, but that's the overall gist of Pipe It.
I think what I love about the decision, if you lay up, like your approach shot is so difficult. It's so shallow trying to hold that green. I mean, it makes perfect sense that you have to go for the pipes. And I love that the shortest one actually puts you the furthest down there. I'm a big fan of Pipe It. All right, PJ, what's number 3 here? Let's move on. We are off to the hill, which is Randy Sierra, which when I officially first talked to John about this hole, he wasn't sure we were going to be able to do it because of the physics, but we got it done. Let's roll into the overhead here. Randy Sierra made a par 4. It's about 380 yards. This first cliff is 80 feet tall.
Oh my God.
And so you're going straight up. Your decision is go way right onto that big fairway or try to go narrow up the left there. But what you're seeing on the right is also concrete. So as PJ found out in playing it, you could smoke the concrete and shoot way forward, or you get stuck on the concrete and you come backwards. So I believe you end up with a shot that's at least double the length of if you hold this left-hand side. So if you get it up the left, your shot into the cliff is so much shorter than if you get that concrete or just bail off the tee.
I like this hole. I think I'd like to see it like 40 yards longer, 50 yards longer, because like to me, you're just hitting it right all day. Because it's 380 yards. It's not that long of a hole.
Right.
It
is playing 100 feet uphill total.
Yeah, but it's still like 400. So if I hit it 250, I only have a 9 iron in, you know?
That's fair.
But if we stretch this now, like I think this is the where TGL most missed the mark, is that all these holes should just be insanely long.
That's because Yep.
If we stretch this hole to like 480, I think it gets really fascinating.
I mean,
wait, sorry. What
happens
if I land something just short of the concrete and roll it onto the concrete?
It just rolls back.
It'll stop and come way back.
Okay. Because I do love the idea of concrete as a surface in this game, truly, like some strategy of where you're landing it and maybe bouncing forward. I don't know if this fully gets you there, but I think there's something here, maybe with some small tweaks.
All right, that's good. Randy, I'm a big fan of this one. I see you're in the comments, so well done with your design. We appreciate it, and we'll just make it a little longer next time is probably what our submission is here. All right, we're off to Yellowwood next, which we made a decision in designing this. This was another one of John's suggestions. While you're going to see in the overhead here, we made an addition down the left-hand side. It's not just out of bounds. We added a little viewing stand for anyone who actually wants to watch the hole. PJ, I think you had some trouble here, but let's roll to the overhead. There are two distinct options on Yellowwood. You go down incredibly narrow left-hand side and risk smoking it right into the grandstands, which is just a pleasure. Or you go way right and swoop around. I believe it adds about 100 yards to the hole. So let's kind of walk through this hole from, I believe John goes through both, but you'll be able to see where the green is way left there. Simple design. Do you take the narrow or do you go the long way around? But what Nate did in the design, he inverted a Biarritz green. So in the middle of this green, it is way up, and it's about 100 yards long. So you really, really have to factor in your tee shot when you're making your decision here.
Cameron, thoughts?
I love that it looks just like a gigantic mini golf hole, basically, but it's like full size. Yeah,
it's so narrow.
This is the thing, is like these guys are hitting inside a dome. Like, yeah, they can hit a 5-yard fairway though, with like from a perfect lie inside of a stadium, right? Like, so I appreciate it. I appreciate
It reminds me of that DP World Tour video they did when they had guys try to hit like the 1-yard fairway on the racetrack. It took them like 2 hours. Yeah, that's what they should be doing.
I like this little the cliff. You can you can almost hit it over the water down the right, but then there's a cliff immediately over.
You gotta hold it.
I'm a fan.
I didn't get any clarification from Nate on why it's called Yellowwood, but we'll leave that up to him.
Joseph, would you find this hole on Design Disasters?
It actually looks a lot like the one we just did in Merle's Inlet, the Gary Player design. So what I do love about it is depending on the pin location, like if it's all the way on the back or on the left, I guess, depending on your perspective, you can kind of go at it from the tee, but if it's middle or front right, then you basically have to fly it all the way there. So he's giving you some options, but that's pretty narrow.
Yeah. And if you don't get it all the way down there, if you keep it on the grass, but you're on the right side there, I mean, you could still be blocked out by the trees.
Yeah.
You got to get it way down.
PJ, what'd you do here?
I tried to go right or left down the narrow fairway both times. My first time, I pulled it into the grandstands, into the water, left there, missed, complete miss. So I ended up playing along the right, coming back around after I had to re-tee. But today I went down.
You went right
down the left. No, I went down the left, pushed it right into the middle of the woods, and had to just hit whatever it allowed me to hit out of there. It took me 2 shots to get out of the woods, but I made it.
It sounds like you played with reckless aggression.
Well, yeah. I mean, that was
why not? Yeah,
you'll see some reckless aggression coming up on the next hole for sure.
I think Brandel would like this hole.
I think Brandel would like this hole. Lots of trees. Maybe we need more trees, but
More trees.
BJ, let's get into the next hole because I am itching to talk about this one. It's called island hopping, and this is where it gets aggressive. Submitted by Aaron Marks. It's a 570-yard par 5, and my God, does it require some accuracy? I believe PJ.
It's just the worst thing that's ever happened. Like this hole is it's so. It's like not even fun because you're just going from island. If you're bad at the game, it's terrible.
Well, let's see it overhead, Joseph. I'm going to throw this right to you because I know you're looking for ridiculous holes, and this one is right up your alley.
Like completely earnest take. Like I'm in. Like this kinds of stuff where you have different options, different risk profiles. Like some a little smaller the farther you go. Like absolutely, give me the lily pad hole.
I mean, like you think about these are the very best golfers in the world. You want to see them play preposterous stuff like this.
Also, really underrated part of this hole. If you're flying into the water, there could be some where did it last cross. I think it crossed up on that island. I mean, absolutely electric.
God, people are going to be so happy that Hovland's not in this. He would be on your ass all day about those.
PJ, is this the hole you haven't finished yet?
No, I finished this one. So the first time I played it after SGS last night at like 2 a.m. I went home and I played it just because I was still riled up from the live show. I pumped driver right, trying to reach like one of these further islands, completely missed. So I had to re-tee off the tee immediately there. Then today I hit a 5 hybrid right to this middle left here. That's what they set you up as in the game. So the game gives you some clubs. They give you some suggestions. You can take them or leave them. I decided to go with it. Then I tried to hit an 8-iron to one of these back islands just to set up an approach to the green. And the 8-iron got blown out to sea. Ended up in the water. So it's bad. It's all bad.
You imagine playing this hole with like a 25-mile-an-hour crosswind?
It's so bad. It's so bad.
And on that note, anyone in the comments, you can play this golf course. It is available in PGA 2K23 as PJ's walking through. So if you want to play, you're more than welcome to. All right, PJ, let's go to the next one, which the ridiculousness continues here. From Matthew Schoolfield, it's all about the fans. As you can tell, it is a par 3 where the fans are up on the action, not only behind the green, but in front of the green and around the tee box. You are right in there. Also, on the green there, I can only assume that's the pine cone, just kind of moseying around. So let's see what it looks like in the video game, because this one is.
Oh my God!
You are going right over the fans. You can play from the grandstands, I believe.
I like the opportunity to bounce it off the top of the grandstand in front onto the green.
Oh yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah, I don't want to nitpick. One thing I think would be sick is if there was a little tunnel cut out in the front one and you could bounce it in.
A little adaptation.
Yeah.
To get to a front pin, you got to like bounce it in. This hole's sick.
I mean, we got to run it by Matt. But
this is a good par 3.
I feel like it's hard. It's easier to design a crazy, ridiculous, longer hole. I feel like for part 3, you've got to get pretty creative. I really did like this one.
I mean, to be fair, it kind of just looks like the hole at the Byron, and he put a grandstand in the front. Just close it off.
It's Waste Management's 16th with a grandstand in
Just
front.
put a grandstand in front, yeah.
If last year hadn't happened at Waste Management, they might have considered something like this. Big fan of this one, Matt. This one's high on my list.
Is this the easiest hole, PJ?
Yes, for sure. I think this is the easiest hole.
We needed a little breather after Island Hopper, you know?
Yeah.
After the lily pad.
You're almost out of balls after Island Hopper. I mean,
If you survive the pipes and Island Hopper, you deserve a little punch bowl.
John did a good job routing this into the where he placed it in the routing, you know?
well,
the
other thing
Go
that
ahead,
John
Peter.
did that I love, but from a playing standpoint, especially when you suck at the video game, the water being everywhere. And I know there's a lot of water on the TGL, a lot of beach-based holes, but the water being everywhere is like you could just see places. You could end up in water that isn't even supposed to be there, but you're taking a drop and you're going in the water anyway. There's so much water. There's water everywhere.
We're gonna get to a hole in a couple holes, PJ, where I believe the game asks you if you want to just like take a sand wedge off the first tee. We'll get to that in a second. But if you want to avoid some water, the game will help you out. Let's move on to Turbo Channel. This is another great one, submitted by Dan Griffith. I think he actually made this one, but a big component of this is the TIO up by the green.
Like this.
If you go too far left and you're blocked out by the TIO, you have to go back on the line with the green, which is blocked then by the tree, which is modeled off the TPC sawgrass tree. And if you don't want to take that line, you are welcome to go for the launching pad, which I believe PJ did when he played this. But it is as we'll see in the game here, PJ, let's roll that. You have a distinct advantage if you hit this concrete pad. It launches you straight forward onto the green. This is up there for me. But PJ, what you said you made birdie here both times, right?
Yeah, these two, if you can hit the concrete pad, you're in for a guaranteed birdie. It doesn't launch you too far past. It launches you kind of to the back of the green. I'd be interested to see if you can land it any closer to the pin than it gives you. It gives you like right to the back of the green, but you can. This is makeable if you hit the concrete at the right angle and you got this back pin. This is makeable in one.
The view from behind is incredible.
Look at that thing. Look at
It's a
it just
legit
bounced
great
it right
golf
off
hole.
there. Yeah.
It really is.
I like
Great,
this
drive
hole a
pitch
lot.
hole. Yeah.
PJ,
I love
did
that
you
if you
try
miss
going
the
left at all?
concrete, if you miss the concrete, it's basically a reload. This is sick.
Yeah. But the concrete's big enough that you should go for it. Like there's a big reward. I think we're unanimous that we love this one.
Yes.
So we'll keep that on the short list. All right, Turbo Channels to go. We're PJ. We're moving on to one that is very
What hole is
divisive.
this? Is this hole 7?
This is hole number 8. This is called
8.
Sandpiper from our friend Barry Watt. There is no fairway. There is no fairway on Sandpiper. It is the Oakmont bunker the entire way.
So you just play from the TGL, the little sandbox, the whole time. If this was put into TGL,
Well, there is a tee box.
Well, you get
so
the
that's
tee
an
off.
important
Yeah.
component. Yeah. PJ, let's roll into the overhead here because you do kind of need to see it in action. It
oh my
it is. And so, as PJ found out, when you get on the tee here, the game doesn't want you to hit it in the bunker, so they ask you if you want to hit a lob wedge off the tee, so you stay short.
You can hit
And then
you can hit
go for
your lowest distance club is what the AI gives you. Your lowest distance club, just a little like pitch shot right to the edge of the rough surrounding this first piece of sand. Because the AI is like, why do you want to hit it directly into a bunker? And there's no fairway because in between is just rough too. So the AI, this hole breaks the game. The game has no idea how to handle it.
You know what I'd be interested with this hole is if we bump the sand up maybe 50 yards and it becomes a little bit more realistic to hit the like pitching wedge layup. Like, can we
You
get
actually
somebody to
have a
lay up
chance to
to
get there.
250 in the rough versus being in the bunker.
Well, these are the pews are hittable. If you want to just bomb driver and try to land on the very small angle of the pew and hit out of the heavy rough, you can do that.
You know, I'm having flashbacks every time we do this flyover and the tree comes in front of the camera of flying the drone and crashing into trees. Like I'm having these I'm waking up.
That's why video game golf is better. Safer.
Yeah.
That's right. All right, big fan of Barry's.
I think
here.
somebody would try and play to the right to the rough over there.
It's OB, I think.
There's a little space, absolutely.
Not-
Yeah.
Well, no, it's OB. It's OB in his drawing, isn't it? Is there space?
Oh, in his drawing, yeah, you're right. Absolutely, it is. Yeah, we got to be in the bunker. Yeah.
Underrated part of this, I think Barry nailed the whole length. If you hit some 300 and you have a 100-yard wedge shot out of this bunker into a small green like that, that is a hard golf shot.
Oh, we'll get to something
Supposed to
that's
be OB.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
It's the water. It's the water OB.
I actually went into the water here. Trust tree. Shake the driver into this right past this grandstand here. Just complete wipey Wyndham ball into this water here.
and we had to re-tee here.
Can balls plug into the sand in TGL? Or are they just all perfect?
No,
lies?
they just place it. It's all perfect.
Yeah, you
lie.
place it. Yeah. We'll get fried eggs in TGL 2.0.
Yeah.
All right. Often the final hole on the way out is called "Not All Heroes Wear Capes." Now, there's a very important direction that we need to talk about here because this hole does kind of look like, I believe it's number 12 at Austin Country Club, where guys just ended up banking it off the grandstand, and they would get a free drop, and that's your way to play the hole. In Jacob's drawing here, there's a little area that you can see in the back that encompasses the water, and that what the arrow says next to it is area of virtual certainty that the ball is in the grandstand. So if your ball finds that area, you are actually getting TIO even if you are in the water. That's a very important element of this hole that I love. It would be very hard to officiate, I believe, but let's see it in action here, PJ. Joseph, as our Austin resident, I'm going to throw it to you first because I think it does kind of harken back to Austin Country Club.
Yeah, it does look a lot like the
Yeah, it
13th. It pretty much is the 13th at Austin Country Club, or the 4th in the traditional routing.
I believe the yardage here, PJ, correct me if I'm wrong, but it's a little better maybe because you actually have to cure a driver to get it all the way there.
Yeah, you can't. It's just about like a 305 carry. Like it's not a gimme at all that you can get there in the game. It depends on wind, and it depends on if you're using John Cena and his 100 maxed out driving distance without any ability to hit the golf ball. He could probably get there.
John actually sent me a video. Those grandstands on the left, you can play from on top of them. So if you do want to take that line, you're more than welcome to try that as well. They're a nice flat top up there. All right. That's Austin inspiration. Let's this one is something else. Modeled after Bryson's bunker shot at Pinehurst number 2. Zach Anderson submitted Bryson Island. As you can kind of see in his drawing, there is an island of sand out in the water with a fairway that narrows if you push it up the left-hand side. And I think this is one of the better ones to actually see turned into a real life here, PJ. Let's roll that because it is a distinct possibility to go right, but in true Pinehurst fashion, if you try to hit it in that bunker, you are dealing with some wiregrass possibilities. And as PJ found out, you can actually be up against the bulkhead as well.
The bulkhead is an unforeseen error that I had to come into today. I didn't really I had to chip out backwards because I was too far against the bulkhead that I could not advance the ball forward.
God, bulkheads are an amazing addition to the game.
But you're in the middle of the sand. You've got about a 60-yard shot. So if you can cut off significant distance. If you go left, you're about 150 to 170. So you can be way out there. You can cut off a lot of distance, but you're also facing Bryson's shot that won the U.S. Open. So
this is sick. This is a great hole.
I like going a little bit longer. I'd rather see that approach be like 200.
Just push that fairway even further out that way.
Yeah.
Make a real decision whether you want to get into this wiregrass or not.
Yeah. This is a good hole.
I think this is a good one. I do have to apologize. I wrote Joel. His name is Zach Anderson. That'd be a funny one. But Zach Anderson, great submission here. Love Bryson Island, and I don't recommend hitting it up against the bulkhead like PJ, but it's a good one. So Bryson Island kicks off our inward 9. Andy, I think you're going to see some similarities to a course around Philadelphia in this next one. We are going to this one is a name that I gave it because it's called the Homage. It's a par 4, 384 yards with a giant mound that kind of comes in off the left and sneaks up around the green. And everything that hits the mound is going to kick it one way or the other. But if it kicks it left, you could get dangerously close to that out of bounds line too. So, PJ, I think we have this overhead it's kind of hard to see the mound in this one, but it's a super cool look at the wall on the left. And then when you get up closer to the green, the mound kind of starts right about here and then feeds towards the green. It is we made it 5 feet tall in the video game. It'll feed everything that hits the right side of it to the right, and then it kind of screws up your angle depending on the pin there too. John notes that it starts at about 265 yards here. Joseph, is this creative enough for you? Is this okay for your video game?
How long is this hole? I think to Andy's point, we probably need a little longer of an approach shot for any of these kind of angles to matter for a top golfer. I think the bunkering's provocative. I'm a big fan of what's going on down the right side, but strategically, I think we could do a little better in increasing the length of this hole. That's my main feedback. What do other people think?
It's a really nice real golf hole. I'll say that.
Yeah.
That's a good compliment.
Yeah, it is. It is. Yeah, but for a tour player from a perfect lie, yeah, I mean, it's with a 80 or 90 yard wedge shot, it's going to be tough to test them.
I think that's where they missed the boat the most with the designs of TGL holes. It was like, they're going to be docile with conditions, firmness, and they're going to place on a perfect lie every time. Like there is no rough. So it's just like you have to get, because of that, you have to get way more extreme and or silly with your design.
Yeah.
And it's just like taking a classic hole. Like there are a lot of just like normal golf holes that they designed, and just saying, okay, I'm going to make them 150 yards longer is just generally like a good practice. Like this hole at 520 yards, right, I think would be pretty interesting.
Yeah, I agree.
Can make that mounting snake way back there. Yeah. So Jay Moynihan was the guy who submitted this one. Jay, I'm a fan of the hole. It's actually a better real life golf hole. So we'll take that into consideration. We need some more insanity next time.
I love that little hollow short right too. That's really nice.
Yeah.
It'd be a fun hole to play.
It would be. It's a good one. All right, let's kick up the insanity here, PJ. This one is among the most ridiculous. Modeled after the Golden Gate Bridge. We are playing a par 5.
Too?
Yes, it is. 705 yards.
This one is ridiculous.
Here we go.
Let's get to the view here. We have 2 separate tee boxes on the back. One is angled off to the right.
Yes,
and the
love
other
it.
This tee box is diabolical.
Love it.
It's
so hard to hit.
Love the angled tee box.
Got to hit the cut in there. The other thing that we did with this hole is if you go down the edges, concrete all the way down the edges. So you can get way down there if you hit it down there. Otherwise, it's just going to stop shorter in the middle here. Here's the Mackenzie bunker, or an estimate of it in the game. And then PJ, if we can pause, let's pause because this arch here, if we can't, the arch is modeled after the Golden Gate Bridge. And as we'll get to the other side, it is also a viewing tower. So we are going to get through here, and the arch or the support beam, as you would go over in San Francisco, there's no people up there. But as you play the golf hole, there's going to be a nice grandstand for people to watch coming in. Now, they can't see the shot from behind them, but it'll either go over or underneath them. And this is designed by Adam Hatcher. I'm a huge fan of this one. It's as long as you guys want it to be. Although if you hit it down the car path or down the concrete, it's going to bounce way down there. So, Cameron, I think this is kind of more of what we're looking for.
I just like love the idea of Wyndham Clark finding the center and having to hit like a punch 5-iron through the middle.
Yeah,
because it's right in his window of his wedge or something.
Yeah,
I think we need more floating vertical hazards like this. To me, like these are things I'd thought about too when I was like playing around with ideas, but like force them to, hit different trajectory shots, like under and over things. I think is awesome.
I'd like to remove the front bunker. I'd like to be able to hit a running shot in.
Just run it straight up.
Yeah, I think that would be cool.
It was amazing.
Yeah, that's fair. Joseph, is this the kind of vertical feature you had in mind when you were talking about in the pod?
Yeah, and I like that you can bounce it on this concrete potentially into the fairway, and another good opportunity for where
you can also bounce it off of the fairway. From the
absolutely. That's great.
I want to make that very clear.
God, the thing about this is it'd be amazing. Could you imagine like Billy Horschel playing this hole and getting completely jammed by it, and him like the reaction? Like that's what they want. That's what the beauty of the mic'd up players is. Like if somebody just gets irate about it, like it'd be amazing. It'd be such a wonderful moment for a golf hole if a player's like, "Oh, F this golf hole," and like, they had to bleep it on the telecast. Like those are the moments they need. And the golf holes absolutely could get those out of the players.
I also think this concrete hazard is a really good way to go with this. And it kind of impacts the way you curve the ball. Like there's a lot of strategy towards the way your ball has to land. I'm a big fan of the concrete.
You cannot hook it from that angled tee.
No. And you could play this hole with the tee box the other way where you have to hook it. Like I'm just in on concrete.
We can build another island tee box out there. I mean, on concrete.
How wide is the fairway?
It's 30 yards wide, 10 each stripe.
Okay.
Oh wow!
So it's not that.
So
wide.
The actual fairway is 10 yards wide. The concrete's 10 on
the
each
hole
side.
is 30. Yeah,
the hole is 30.
I think if you went to like 15 or 20 yards on the fairway, it would have more chance of getting like having some approval from TGL.
Yeah, I would agree. We can get there. All right, that's Golden Gate. Adam, very good submission. We are going to. This is actually the first. I think this is one of the earliest submissions we got from Mike. It's called Peanut Gallery. It is all based off of TIO, and John did a solid here with the amount of hospitality that's on this hole. TJ, let's roll right into the hospitality.
Oh my God.
You are not going over that hospitality. It is not possible. You have to hit the shoot. You can get your ball stuck in there and play from it. That's also another element.
I played from this right corner right here. I had that experience. this right little jut out right here. Yeah.
The 2K doesn't give you TIO relief, right?
No. But that's the idea of the hole at the very least.
Wasn't there a way to play around it in the sketch? Wasn't there a TIO drop that effectively was like a 250-yard shot? Yeah, the TIO drop.
Amazing submission. Then you're hitting from that angle to the shallowest part of the green.
Yeah.
Another one where there's an opportunity to shift that tee box around a little bit and make them hit some kind of little slice or some little hook. And this has some potential.
My favorite part is none of these fans can see anything that's actually going on the hole. They're just sitting in the stands.
Did it make it through or did it not? That's all that we care about here.
God, this is great. Great to come these crazy ideas to life.
The peanut green adds to it too. All right, off to skate park, 490 yards. And as you would think about with a skate park or a half pipe, we have some big mounds in the middle that are going to shoot you one way or the other. We have waste areas on both sides, plus a couple of center line bunkers that are 295 to carry off the tee. So as far as real life definition or dimensions go, it's pretty good for a pro. But we could push those out a little bit. I think if we're making these a little longer, make this about 530 yards. But PJ, I think this overhead gives a really good picture of the mounds that we're looking at.
This green, I think this might be my favorite green complex. I understand that we're limited in the metaverse with the in-person green, but if we weren't, this green complex is really good.
As we get up here, I believe it's like a plus sign if I remember right, and falls off.
And it's all like kind of up in the center, and it's all falling off.
It's reminiscent of the great Top Hat green at Spanish Bay.
As John points out in the comment, PJ, let's roll this one more time. On the right-hand side here, you'll see a couple of familiar logos as you play the skate park hole, but it's this Fried Egg Island is truly branded to us. But I love skate park. I think if you push those bunkers a little further out, it makes the hole even better. But it's a good green.
I love the buildings too.
Oh, we'll get there.
It's a great setting.
There's a couple of little islands. Some good stuff out here from John. Yeah. All right, that was submitted by Wesley Dormick.
It's a good hole.
Apologies.
Yeah,
it's a good hole.
How big of a hazard? This is a question though. How big of a hazard is the sand to these players? Do you think, like, legitimately in TGL?
From a dead flat lie with no lip, I don't think it's very big of it's a huge hazard.
It's not. I would love for them to be able to have a little wall that can like move up and down in front of the bunker, like a face.
How high they have to hit it?
Yeah.
And then have the ball ricochet back into the fans.
Yeah, exactly. No, it would.
Everybody starts bringing their baseball gloves to the TGL. You know what would be kind of sick off this this submission with the skate park theme? If you made if we introduce more concrete.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Andy, thinking the exact same thing. Like if you had some kind of ramp that you should go low and bounce it up versus if you flew directly, maybe it ricochets back at you. Like I think there's something there.
I also was thinking like maybe on the edges, you could get an advantage if you play to the edges with like concrete speed slots. If you hit it in the wrong spot on the concrete, it bounces into the water.
Yeah.
Well, that was on the third hole, the hill, the one that goes straight up. If you hit the concrete like catch basin on the upslope at the right angle, at the right speed, it is punching you through the fairway over the cliff into the water. Like absolutely, it is. There is not enough room there.
Got to shape your ball correctly into the concrete.
And there's like this anticipation. It's like, oh, he's going for the concrete. And then you're like, oh, where on the concrete is it going to land?
Would we make the concrete smooth or should it be like kind of like gravelly? So you get an added element there.
I think smooth. You could do both, right? It could be a complete game of chance. I saw somebody in the comments, Dan Griffith, is talking about like elevated posts to make a Plinko style. I like that. That could be like another aspect of this, right?
Yeah. Love it.
More randomness. All right, PJ, I think we got a couple of John submitted holes. So we had I believe we had 15 submissions that we could actually make, but we needed to create a full golf course. So John helped us out and filled out the course with a couple of his own designs. PJ, I'll let you pick which one you want to roll into here next, but there are a couple of really creative ones here.
Let's go into the city. This is rooftops. This is like a 780-yard par 5.
It brings you way up top here.
And you're playable off these roofs on the right here if you find yourself pushed right. Absolutely playable.
And you said you went for the green
right and get extra yard.
Yeah, no, I have not yet been able to reach it in 2. because it's downhill, so you think maybe you can get there. I have not yet been able to reach it.
What's the right line off the tee? I mean,
I think just straight.
Yeah, you're
There's
trying
no
to
roof.
carry
Is there
this-
any roof I can, try to get down there with, take the right bounce?
Oh yeah, maybe we add like an angled roof.
That's
That could-
that's
that-
the thing. I think there needs to be a few strategic bells and whistles to this
Uh-huh.
hole.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. All right, John, we'll work with you on that. We can find some roofs, add some elements to this
The
hole.
idea that you could be playing right or left off different roofs gets me pretty excited. So I think with that added element.
Well, the Bay has the Golden Gate home hole. Could this be the NYGC home hole? Can we license,
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
concrete
License
jungle. You
the
could call it the
Chrysler
concrete
Building.
jungle.
license the Chrysler Building, bank it off Rockefeller Center? I mean, who knows? Opportunities are endless. This is another John. This is the other par 3 on the course here.
Yes.
Oh my God.
Yes.
Yes.
Another vertical element. You cannot hit a wedge into this hole. It's only 122 yards.
Oh my
So-
God.
Amazing.
This is incredible. This might be the best hole.
It's really something. You got to really flight a low shot in or bank it off the grandstand is the idea here.
This is sick.
Plus, and the pin moves around behind these pillars, so you could be really boned in the wrong spot. This
I
is a
love
good
that.
one, PJ.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like this one. You're just punching a 3-wood off of one of these hospitality tents and letting it bounce around. I like the game glitches out, as you can see here. Like when you're behind a grandstand or behind one of these pillars, like the game does not register that you should be going through that with a camera. So you're just like blocked out and it's completely blind. You have no idea where your ball is. You have no idea where you're ending up until it sets you up for your next shot. So you're at the mercy of the PGA gods when you bank it off of one of these structures, which I think is great.
As
I
you
kind
should
of
be
love
in
how
TGL.
if you come in high and you land on top of those rocks, it might fly over the TIO and like in out of bounds, which is sick.
Yeah. It's
Like Ryan
asking
Palmer
you
at
to
the
hit a
Sonic.
shot.
Yeah.
It is. This is asking you to hit a specific type of shot. Yes, it is.
I like
It's a
the
good one.
rock. I like the rock in the back behind the green. This can be a kind of a sideboard you could play it
Mhm.
off of.
Yeah.
So many options here. All right, that's the last par 3. PJ, as we get to the home hole here, this one from David Wellen is right after Andy's heart. It's a par 3.5, 380 yards, I believe. We might have stretched it out a little longer, John. It is based off of a famous character from recent years in professional golf and affectionately titled The Blocky. Let's just go.
Is it impossible
blocky-
to miss?
No, they're just blocky hazards.
No way. No way.
We have his namesake right in the middle. That you're playing uphill to the bunker, shaped like blocky. If you get over it, you hit the downslope towards the TGL green. This is a stunner. Andy, your breath is just taken away.
So you just hit it. If you hit it over Blocky's face, it's gonna shoot it down to the green.
Pretty much, yeah.
Pretty
It's about
close to it.
It's a
Yeah.
big carry. Yeah.
You go down, and then the green comes back up a little bit.
God, I think Rory would love this. Hit it over Blocky.
I think Blocky would love it if he had Rory's distance.
No. No. No way. No way.
I mean, the blocky hole should really just be about chipping and putting, though, right? That's
Yeah.
his,
Well,
This is true. Yeah.
It's a drive and pitch hole.
Yeah. Well, yeah. It's Rory's length plus his short game. I mean, he's an unbeatable hole there.
Blocky hole.
The blocky
Sitting in
hole is
it.
our finisher. Yeah. So here's David's original drawing. It is really spectacular. I love the face in the middle, the block hazards on the left there, the block bunkers on the right. It's just spectacular all around.
Oh man. What
So that's our full golf course, guys. What holes stick out to you from your first pass through it?
it's good stuff.
Is there any?
We got to pick. We're going to pick a winner here.
This might be an impossible question. Is there any way to see them like?
One by
Island,
one.
not.
island
Probably
hopping
not.
is just incredible hole.
I'll say some names here that you guys noted. Island hopping was a big fan, all about the fans, the grandstands all the way around the green. Turbo Channel was the concrete launch pad forward. You guys liked that one a lot. Sandpiper with just sand all the way down. Golden Gate with the bridge. Skate park was great, obviously. Then the rock and roll par 3, and then blocky would be the highlights.
I really like Golden Gate, actually, especially from the angled tee box.
I like the option of moving it left or right. Having it hit the cut.
I know.
Messing with the wind.
Well, I
This
love
is
that it
just-
forces the guys to hit a drop. Like, there's really no point in trying to lay up because it's still a really
so
hard
hard.
shot.
PJ, did you hit? Which one have you finished? Is this the one you haven't finished?
No, I have finished Golden Gate. The one I have not finished was hold on, which one? It was 15, which I believe John has changed. That's actually the one he made this video and then went back and improved one of his other holes, but we don't have a video for it. It's a short par 4, it's drivable, but there's a tic-tac-toe board right in front of the green with like an X and an O in it, and you got to hit it through the tic-tac-toe board. But if you just hit the rock, then you get jetted back into the water. And I've hit the rock. Oh, he's got it in the Google Drive. All right, I'm gonna see if I can pull it up. Carry on, because this is a good one. I like this one a lot.
Tic-tac-toe hole is great. Yeah.
I love Golden Gate hole, and even if every shot ended up in the water, there'd still be some strategy to like how far did you get it up and then where you're dropping. So par is just a number. Even if everyone's hitting 3 on their second shot, I'm in. That might be my vote.
I think if that fairway, I would just tweak it, make the fairway like 5 or 10 yards wider. Make it a little bit more like if you hit a really great drive, you're there, you know?
Yeah.
And then it also makes the realisticness of bouncing off the concrete an actual strategy, because there's more fairway. Because you could from that right tee, you could hit a draw and land on the right edge of the concrete and have it bounce into the fairway. That's probably maximum distance.
Yeah.
You know,
I think cut. Wait, I think you want to hit a cut. No,
you'd be able to hit a draw and
If
land
the
it on
fairway
the
was
right.
wider, you could hit
If the fairway is a little wider, you
Yeah.
can hit a draw or a cut, right? Like you can hit a draw and like really go for the max distance.
Here's the
All right,
tic-tac-toe hole.
Let's include the tic-tac-toe here. Yeah.
I
Is this
also
blocky?
it might be blocky. So you're coming up. You got this
Oh my God.
right here, and if you hit it the wrong angle, as I've learned,
amazing.
not good.
That's amazing.
Good stuff from John.
And this
creative
green
mind.
this green is incredible. If you bail out right behind this grandstand, it's all funneling towards this pin.
PJ,
Kinda
I love
like
that
the
you played
island.
this at 2 a.m. last night. Just decided to torture yourself at 2 a.m. and fire this up.
I was home. I had just gotten home from putting up the live show. I was ready to go. I was raring. I wanted to see Golden Gate in action.
All right, so it sounds like Golden Gate's the winner.
Any other submissions? Cameron, do you have anything else you want to talk about?
What was the first one?
The
Was
rock
it the first
hole.
user? The first user hole? Up
The hill.
the hill?
The hill,
Up
the
the
one at the
hill.
cliff.
I
That's
mean,
a
I
good one.
agree. I agree that one needs to be longer, but I really liked the idea of that hole a lot. I think it was on the right track. Yeah.
The cliff.
That's a good
Yeah.
hole.
Turbo Channel.
Andy's right though. There's no real incentive to go left on that hole if you're hitting a mid iron or short iron in.
It just needs to be longer, or it needs to be wider with more bunkers.
Yeah, exactly. And more concrete.
But honestly, they might choose to be in the bunker. They might just accept being in a bunker at 120 yards, right?
Well, this is
Like,
what I'm
that's not
saying. Like, I feel like most of these guys are just gonna go. They don't care. They'll hit it out of the sand.
I just don't think. Yeah, bunkers are just not really a hazard. Like,
No.
I almost think you could design the TGL course with no bunkers, and it would be
think it'd be
better
better.
than with bunkers.
Yeah.
I was thinking about that today when I was watching whatever influencer they had showing the TGL arena. Is I was thinking about like how stupid the green is with the bunkers and how it kind of ruins every hole. Like it would be better if the green had no bunkers.
Yes.
Agreed. Yep.
Like the bunkers are just like a extremely boring shot to watch pro golfers hit. But
my guess is the fairway bunkers will be like 0.2 of a shot of a penalty. I think is a reasonable guess.
What does that compare to like a PGA Tour penalty?
PGA Tour average is 0.45, but I don't think it's going to be anywhere close to that.
You don't think the sandbox is going to impose a penalty?
Are you talking about berries?
No, the little sandbox that they hit out of.
I mean, I think it'll be 0.2 of a shot or a quarter of a shot, but yeah, not more than that probably.
I would also trade the real grass for synthetic grass if you could make him hit off some non-flat lies too.
Here you go. This is apparently people are way better at this game than I am because they know that you can't hit a spitty shot out of a bunker, so it actually is a real penalty. Maybe that's why I suck. I don't know.
It's not an equal hazard.
Well, PJ, you just gotta get better at the game. We'll find it. All right, we're gonna declare Adam Hatcher's Golden Gate, the par 5, 705 yards as our winner. The arch really is something else. Yeah. I love the viewing tower. It's a real gem. We might make some tweaks to it, but all in all, great hole for TGL. I think it would do well in with some professional golfers playing it. Any last thoughts here, guys? On TGL hole designs, we might do one of these again just because this is a blast. But we'll see how TGL goes tomorrow. But any final thoughts on the first round of our TGL hole design contest?
No way. Yes way.
I think this was super fun, and I appreciate everybody's submissions. This was I had high hopes for this, but this exceeded them. Here's to send us off.
No way. No way.
Adam, I will be in touch with you. We got a prize for you. That was awesome. I want to give a big thanks to John Gelsinger for all the hard work here. I legitimately think he put like tens of hours of work into this. It just started as like a crazy idea that we had on a team call, and it's turned into something really special here. So, John, thank you for all your work. You were a blessed member of Club TFE. We really appreciate all the effort that went in here. Guys, I think that's gonna close us down here. PJ's got to go try to break 80, or we broke 90. We got to go break 80. But a couple quick things here before we get out for the Club TFE hangout. Meg wanted me to mention that the second wave of member gifts from this year is going out. So if you didn't get it in the first wave, please look at our email yesterday. We've got details on how to order your member gift from Red Rooster. And then also this week, be on the lookout. We're going to have some event releases. We got a new site where everyone's going to be able to see some information. Registrations are starting in next week. So it's going to be a big couple weeks here moving forward for events and for Club TFE. But thank you again to you guys for hopping on here and deciding. PJ for putting all your effort into trying to break 100. I think it's very beneficial that everyone can now go play this golf course in PGA 2K23, having seen PJ's course record of 109 up there. I'm assuming it's been broken by now, but I hope so. All right, guys. Thank you so much. We will be back again next month for our next virtual hangout. We will. I'm going to say this, but if you're watching this as a recording, you're not going to get to this part. So this recording will be up in the website if you missed the beginning part of it as well. So thank you for everyone who tuned in live. This was a blast, and hopefully we'll do it again sometime. But thank you again for your support.